Welcome to Wednesday Reflections. I'm Aaliyah. Guys, today we are about to get deep. I hope you're ready. I hope you are ready because we're gonna have a real conversation. And we may get a little uncomfortable, but it's gonna be filled with honesty. Okay? Good. So today I've been reflecting on how we're taught that gifts are always good, that there's something to be grateful for, something to accept with a smile. But lately, I've been thinking about the moments when the gift doesn't feel like generosity. It feels like pressure. There's an unspoken expectation in our culture. If someone gives you something, you're supposed to accept it. Even if you said you didn't want anything, even if you were clear, somehow the responsibility shifts to the receiver to manage the giver's feelings. And I just want to say that saying I don't want gifts isn't rejection, it's clarity. It can mean I'm overwhelmed, I'm simplifying, I want presents, not objects. When that boundary is ignored, the gift stops being about care and starts being about obligation. And what's interesting is how quickly discomfort shows up. Not always because of the gift itself, but because of what we feel we're supposed to do next. Smile, say thank you, reassure, perform gratitude. For many of us, this moment activates something familiar, a reflex to smooth things over, to make sure no one feels awkward or rejected. This reflex didn't come from nowhere. It often comes from learning early on that keeping the peace mattered more than expressing discomfort. Sometimes accepting an unwanted gift isn't politeness, it's protection. Protection from emotional tension, from conflict, from the fear of being seen as ungrateful or difficult, disrespectful. These are subtle trauma responses, quiet, embodied, and often misunderstood. If there was ever a time when your boundaries weren't respected or your needs were minimized, your body may have learned that compliance felt safer than honesty. So when someone gives you a gift after you've said no, your nervous system may say, just accept it. It's easier. Whatever. But let me say something. Healing doesn't mean forcing yourself to refuse every time, right? It means noticing the pause. Being able to ask yourself gently, do I want this or do I want relief from discomfort? And that moment of awareness is where choice begins. This isn't about judging people pleasing, but it's about honoring the part of us that learned how to survive and slowly letting it know we don't have to earn safety anymore. I'm going to say that one more time. We don't have to earn safety anymore. Okay? So now let me redefine what giving really is, right? True giving listens. It respects what was asked for and what wasn't. A gift that overrides a boundary may be well-intentioned, but it still asks the receiver to carry something they didn't choose. And not every gift is meant to be kept, and not every act of love comes wrapped in something tangible. So you're allowed to choose simplicity. You're allowed to decline without explanation, and you're allowed to outgrow patterns that once kept you safe. If this reflection resonates, take it as an invitation to listen to yourself a little more closely, right? So I'm going to take a dive, right? And not take a dive, but more so, I'm going to share a personal story with you guys, actually. And this is the reason why I wanted to talk about this topic of gift giving, right? So for me, This happened a little over a month ago, right? And this was for my birthday. So I'm gonna give you guys some context. So I started this job back in July of 2025. And I'm not going to say what the name of this job is, and I'm not going to say what the names of these people. So I'm going to try my best to explain the story. So I started a job back in July of 2025. And at this place, it was myself and it was 3 other women. So it's just the 4 of us, right? If you haven't already figured it out or haven't already seen my other videos, I am a Black woman. And in this space, there were 3 Hispanic women. And in this time of me working there, even in my first day, right, that's when I learned that me and the store manager shared the same birthday, right? Also, for a little bit more context for you all, there is a store manager, an assistant store manager, and a manager on duty. And then there's me. That's the order, right? So me and the store manager share the same birthday. And we were talking about that. And we were kind of bonding over it a little bit. And yeah, like it was nice. It was lighthearted. We were having a lot of conversations. And the birthday conversation came up. And I was telling these ladies that for my birthday, I won't be in. I was already requesting the day off. That my own rule for myself is that I do not work on my birthday, etc. So we're having these different conversations, and as time is passing, we're getting to know each other more. And I share my own personal rule, which is that for me personally, I do not buy gifts for people in the first year of me knowing them. That's one, right? Why that rule? It's because I feel like it weaves out people who may just be trying to use you. And in the same sense of like, if you get a birthday invitation, right? And you just met somebody and it's clear that they just want gifts, right? It's just, and not even just that, but it's just one of those things to where when I give somebody a gift, it comes from the heart. And I feel like you don't really know somebody until about that year point anyway, right? So after that, it kind of solidifies like, are you going to continue to be here in my life, or are we going to part ways and all those different things? That's just me personally. I'm not saying that everybody has to follow that rule. That's just me, right? So I was letting the ladies know that in a conversation one day that, once again, the first year of me knowing somebody, I don't buy them a gift. And then after that, it depends on how I feel about the person. So as time goes on, and it's kind of itching closer to birthdays, I let the ladies know that I do not want anybody to buy me a gift. And I said it serious. I didn't say it in a joking way, but I said it in a way that everybody should be able to understand. Do not buy me anything. Another reason why I didn't want anybody to buy me anything, especially where I was working, was because at this point, things had become a little bit rocky. There were cultural things brought up, and there were, microaggressions that were coming at me at this point. And being the only Black woman there, it's like sometimes I would try to explain certain things. And I just feel like when it comes to different cultures and trying to understand Black people and things like that, I feel like they're only going to understand if they want to understand. Unfortunately, well, fortunately and unfortunately. So some people would try to understand, and then other times it was just like my experiences were shut down or made to feel as though they didn't exist or it wasn't a real thing or whatever. And like I said, it was just so many microaggressions at this point happening at the job. So I really didn't want to accept any gifts because I didn't want to get them anything, right? And the only one that was treating me good at this point, that never switched up on me, was the manager on duty. So moving forward, they kept talking about gifts and what I wanted and cake flavors and all types of things after I had already told them, do not give me anything. And I even said, do not do anything for me in regards to my birthday. So I was saying that months in advance. I said that the week prior. I said that a few days prior to my birthday and the day before my birthday at work. So the day before my birthday comes, and it's just me and the manager on duty, and we're opening up the store together. And somehow, some way, it gets brought up again about me, my birthday, and gifts. And I just remember telling her, like, hey, at this point, if someone did not listen to what I said as far as not getting me a gift and respecting that boundary, that I would have to just give them back the gift. And she was like, but what if it was something small, like very small, very little, not much money or anything like that. 2 very small things. And I said I would once again have to just give them back that gift. So then she reveals that she did buy me something. And I do like this person. I don't have any beef with this person, but once again, just for my own peace of mind, I just told her, I said, I'm sorry, but I still will not be able to accept it, but I do appreciate what you did. You know what I mean? Anytime somebody does something for you that they don't have to, it's always nice. But I just have to stay true to myself. So she still tries and tries, and I say no, and then it's basically squashed after that, and we move forward. And she still treats me nice, still treats me like a human being. And then, and once again, at that point, it was just me and her. So the day continues to go, and the assistant store manager comes in, and she starts asking me, she's like, oh, are you excited about your birthday tomorrow? And I'm like, yes, I'm very excited. And another thing for myself is that on my birthdays, once again, I don't work, and I try to have the most perfect day. And I don't celebrate my birthday with just anybody because I don't want people out here ruining my birthday. So usually I only celebrate my birthday with my husband. And my rule is 24 hours. You cannot tell me no. That's just my own rule. And then I do the same thing for my husband. But that's just the rules. Can't say no to the birthday boy or girl. And you just have a good day. So, anywho. So yeah, she's asking me about that. I'm saying that everything is good. The store manager comes in and, she doesn't give me anything. She just says at the end before she leaves, like, hey, happy birthday to us, and moves on, right? So the end of my shift comes. I end up using the restroom. I come out. I try to grab my bag and my lunch things and get out the door. And that's when the assistant store manager hands me the Sephora bag in my hand. And I'm so blown away and shocked by this because I really wasn't expecting it. And my initial reaction was that, I was just shocked. I was surprised. And, I really appreciated what she did. But here comes the point where I got to give the gift back. But I do it gently in my way of doing things. And this is exactly word for word what I do and say. She gives me the bag and she starts talking about like, oh, I really hope you like it and all these different things. And in my head, when I had the bag was heavy, y'all. A Sephora bag was heavy. And as a girl that does makeup, my initial reaction was that, yes, I was happy. I was at first. And so I'm like, dang, this bag is heavy. And I'm telling her, I'm like, thank you. I really appreciate this. And she's going on and on and on. And I sit the bag down on our workstation on the counter, and I say, unfortunately, though, I will not be able to accept this gift, but I really, really, really do appreciate it. Like, I really do. I just cannot accept this gift. And she looks at me and she's like, I don't know if it's a cultural thing, Aaliyah, but in my culture, we don't do that. And I tell her, and I said, I understand, but I just cannot accept this gift. Like, I really can't. I have to stick to my own boundary about gifts. But I do appreciate it. I hope you can understand and realize that I really do. And she goes, that's very rude. And I go, well, I don't mean it. She cuts me off and she goes, that's very rude. That's very rude. That's very rude. And she keeps saying that. And I'm seeing that her eyes are like watering a little bit. And I tell her, I say, listen, It is not my intention to hurt your feelings. It is not my intention to be rude. I really do appreciate the gift. I do. I just have to stick to my own thing about gifts. And I told her, I said, maybe you can give the gift to someone else or you can return it back, but I just cannot accept it. And so I grabbed my things and I went to the door and I turned to her and I said, I really hope that, you have a great rest of your evening and that your evening gets better. And I do appreciate it. And I told her, I said, I'll see you on Friday because my birthday was on Thursday. So I was like, I'll see you on Friday. Have a great rest of your day. And I leave. And at that point, I'm feeling bad. You know what I mean? Because once again, in society, we're taught to just accept gifts, move on. But I don't want to be made to feel as though I have to do something. And it just feels like obligation. It feels like a covert contract. And I really don't like to do covert contracts of any kind. So there was that, right? So moving forward, I get back on Friday. And this assistant store manager, I'm telling her good morning. She's completely being rude to me. She's ignoring me. I'm like, all right, whatever. Also, why the context that there were Hispanic women is because this lady in particular, after that interaction, she started going back to only speaking Spanish, which because I'm not a Spanish speaker in this space, the district manager had told everyone that they cannot speak Spanish unless they're helping customers who can only speak Spanish, of course. But because I cannot understand and because it may be seen as being rude, that they're not allowed to do that, right? So from that moment on, she was speaking only Spanish, no English. Even when I was trying to speak to her, it was only Spanish and those different things like being rude. There were other little microaggressions from this lady, all types of things. Y'all have no idea. But it was just rudeness. And there was things that had happened even a little bit prior to the whole birthday interaction, right? So there's another letter as to another reason why I didn't want to do the gifts, right? And so she starts treating me weird. The store manager and her are like, not besties, but like, I don't know. That's a story for another day. But just know that there was a lot of like microaggressions and racial things that was happening to me at this place. And so because my birthday is in December, early December, Christmas is approaching. And after the whole gift interaction thing happens, our district manager visits and right before Christmas, and she gives gifts to all four of us, right? Now, also a little bit of context, right? When it comes to things received by the district manager in the times that she would come in, I would accept them because it wouldn't only be to just me. It would be to all four of us, and it would usually be employee appreciations, which I don't mind because in that instance, I worked for it, I earned it, and I just take it as, hey, the company is giving me something. Same if the company was to give me a $500 bonus. You think I'm going to decline it? I am not. I earned it. I worked for it, right? That's my mindset on it. So she comes in, she gives us these 4 little baggies, just like small little things, right? Saying Merry Christmas to all of us. And this, at this time when she comes in, all of us are in. And as soon as I accept the gift from the district manager, the assistant store manager then looks some type of way and feels some type of way about it. And I'm just at the point where I'm like, you know what? I don't have time for this. You know what I mean? Like, it's too much. It feels, I don't know, it feels a little childish to me because even before the interaction with the birthday of me and her, that I've accepted things from this person because she's never given it to just me. So then time moves forward and I'm not going to lie, when the district manager showed up with gifts, I kind of felt like it was a setup. And I kind of felt as though they were trying to see if I would accept it or not. But I didn't want to look at the district manager as being petty like that. I wanted to look at it as it was just her character to do. Because, at that point, like, I'm still kind of new to the business. I'm still trying to figure out how they do things and all those different stuff like that. So I didn't want to think that, but I would be lying if I said it. That thought did not cross my mind. So I was kind of picking and choosing my battles at that point, because I'm like, you know what, I'm not doing anything wrong. And so yeah, time moves forward. But what's weird is normally there would be the manager on duty. She would have left before me at this time. But what I noticed was that I was the first one to leave. And then all 4 of those women at that point stayed behind after I had left. So I kind of felt like, they're definitely talking about me, because this is very weird, right? So then moving forward, I get back, and the next day it's a whole thing, right? It's a whole thing. There's conversations that's being had basically saying that I'm being inconsistent, that I'm sending mixed signals, and I had to let them know. I said, I'm not sending mixed signals. I've always accepted gifts that came from the district manager, especially when it's things that all of us are getting. It's not just me personally, and it had nothing to do with my birthday and all those different things. Even with Christmas, right? I'll be honest with y'all, I don't really celebrate Christmas. I haven't really celebrated it. We just are now, me and my husband are just now getting back into the swing of those things. But I hadn't even told him, like, hey, for Christmas, let's not even try to do gift exchanges. If those women wanted to do that, of course, don't let me stop you. But you don't have to get me anything or anything like that, right? Once again, just kind of with the whole gift thing. So they're feeling some type of way. And it was just getting to the point where it's ridiculous. And once again, there were just more things that were happening that was just kind of rude and uncalled for. And so after that point, after little other points, because even the store manager and the assistant store manager, once again, were kind of like buddy, and they would go in the car together and just be talking mess and all types of, like, I'm telling you, like, the stories I could tell about what I experienced in my time is crazy. So one day I had had enough. I did my shift. I left. I called another location to see if I could transfer and see if they had an opening, which they did. And I let my district manager know that I wanted to transfer, let her know what was going on. And there you have it. I am now gone, and I'm in a much better place. But yeah, that is the reason for this podcast episode today. So hopefully that made sense. Hopefully you guys were able to follow along to that. If not, I apologize. But I just wanted to bring that up to say, look, at the end of the day, your boundaries are your boundaries, and nobody's feelings would have been hurt if they just listened. In this instance, if they would have just listened to what I said 111 times, then nobody would have their feelings hurt, and it would be peace and harmony, and we would be able to move on. But I will say that I'm so appreciative of that experience happening, because it's like, okay, so because I didn't accept your gift and because I didn't do what you wanted me to do, now there's beef, and now you're treating me less than a human being, right? So once again, my rules that I have in place as far as knowing somebody for a year and seeing how they act and seeing how it is with boundaries and all those different things, once again, I'm appreciative, because I do buy gifts for people and it's heartfelt. But I like to feel a sense of safety and comfort in those different things of when I'm buying something from and going out of my way, because it's my money, it's my resources, it's my time, it's my energy. And I just want to make sure that all those different things are going to the right person. But anywho, I believe I spoke long enough. So I'm going to say this one more time. You're allowed to choose simplicity. You're allowed to decline without explanation, and you're allowed to outgrow patterns that once kept you safe. If this resonates with you, once again, take it as an invitation to listen to yourself a little bit more. Thank you for spending time with me today. My name is Aaliyah, and you take care of yourself. See you in the next episode.